Love and blessings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Mark of the Beast, Part 4. This portion of the presentation is called The False Prophet. And our forewarning is to watch your mouth, because you are officially on trial, and any and everything that you say can and will be held against you at the judgment determination in the valley of Yahashaphat. Okay? Warning, watch your mouth. Yaakov chapter 3 verses 1 and 2, and then verses 6 through 12. My brothers, many of you should not become teachers, since you know that we who teach will receive a stricter judgment. For in many ways we all offend, err, and sin. If any man does not offend in word, the same is a perfect man, and also able to bridle the whole body. And the tongue is like a fire, a world of iniquity. So the tongue is set among our members, defiling the whole body, and destroying all creation. And for this is subject to the fire of Gehenna. For every kind of beast and bird, or reptile and sea creature can be tamed, and has been tamed by mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless Yahweh our Father, and with it we curse men, who are being made in the likeness of Yahweh. Out of the same mouth proceeds blessing and cursing. My brothers, these things ought not to be so. Does a fountain send out from the same opening fresh water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brothers, bear olive berries, or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a fountain of salt water yield fresh. Watch your mouth. Matthew chapter 12 verses 30 through 37. He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather men together with me scatters abroad. Therefore I say to you, every sin and blasphemy against men will be forgiven, pardoned, but blasphemy against the Spirit will not be forgiven to men. Anyone who speaks a word against the Son of Man, it will be forgiven him. But whoever speaks against the Holy Spirit, it will not be forgiven him, neither in this age nor in the age to come. Either make the tree righteous and its fruit righteous, or else make the tree evil and its fruit iniquity. For a tree is known by its fruit. Brood of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak righteous things? Out of the abundance of the heart the mouth truly speaks. A righteous man from the righteous treasure of the heart brings forth righteous things, but an evil man from the evil treasure brings forth evil things. And I say to you that every word against the work that men will speak, they will give account for it in the day of sentencing. For by your words you will be justified, or by your words you will be condemned. And let us look at the unpardonable sin, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Let's go over to Exodus chapter 20 verse 7. You shall not take the name of Yahweh your heavenly Father to bring it to nothing, for Yahweh will not hold him guiltless who brings dishonor upon or profanes his name. And Yeshezkiah chapter 35 verses 8 through 13. And I will fill his mountains with his slain, on your hills, in your valleys, and in all your rivers. They who are slain with the sword will fall. I will make you perpetually desolate, and your cities will not be rebuilt. Then you will know that I am Yahweh, because you have said, these two nations, these two countries will be mine, and we will possess them, although Yahweh was there. Therefore, as surely as I live, says Father Yahweh, I will act according to your anger and according to your envy, which you have displayed because of your hatred against them. And I will make myself known amongst them. when I have judged you. And you will know that I am Yahweh, and that I have heard all your blasphemies, which you have spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are desolate, they are given to us to consume. In this way, with your mouth you have boasted against me, and have spoken against me without restraint, and I have heard it. And then Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10. That if you confess with your mouth the Messiah Yeshua and believe in your heart that Yahweh has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For with the heart one believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. And then Yeddah chapter 1 verses 10 through 16. But these speak evil of those things which they do not understand, but what they know naturally, instinctively, like brute beasts. In those things they corrupt themselves. Woe to them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, have run greedily in the error of Balaam for reward, and have perished in the rebellion of Korah. These are spots in your feasts of love, feasts of Yahweh, when they feast with you without fear, serving only themselves. They are clouds without rain, driven about by winds, autumn trees without fruit, twice dead, pulled up by the roots, raging waves of the sea, foaming up their own shame, wandering stars to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. Now Enoch, the seventh from Adam, also prophesied about these men, saying, behold, Yahweh comes with tens of thousands of his saints, to execute judgments on all, to convict all those who are unholy among them, for all their unholy deeds, which they have committed in unholiness, and for all the harsh words unholy sinners have spoken against him. These are murmurers, grumblers, complainers, fault-finders, walking after their own lusts, and their mouths boast great swelling words of admiration, flattering other men's pride for their own advantage. The unpardonable sin, Revelation chapter 16, verses 8 through 11. And the fourth Malach poured out his bowl upon the sun, and power was given to him to scorch men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of Yahweh, who had power over these plagues. And they did not repent and give him glory. And the fifth Malach poured out his bowl upon the throne of the beast, and his kingdom became full of darkness. And they gnawed their tongues because of pain, and blasphemed Yahweh in heaven because of their pains and their sores, and did not repent of their works. Silence is golden. Proverbs chapter 18, verses 20 and 21. A man's stomach will be filled with the fruit of his mouth, so he must be satisfied with the harvest of his lips. Death or life is in the power of the tongue. A man will eat the fruit his tongue chooses. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 23. Whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps himself from troubles. Psalm 141, 3 and 4. Set a guard over our mouths, O Yahweh. Keep watch over the doors of our lips. Do not let our hearts be inclined to an evil word, to practice wickedness with those who work iniquity. Do not let us eat of their dainties. Do not let us practice those examples. Isaiah chapter 52, verse 15. So many nations will be astonished at him. Kings will shut their mouths at him. For what had not been told them, they will see, and what they had not heard, they will consider. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 55. Because Yahweh is devastating Babylon and silencing her loud voice. Waves rage like mighty waters. The roar of their voices resound. The revelation, the son of perdition. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verses 1 through 12. Now we plead with you, brothers, concerning the coming of our King Yeshua Mashiach and our gathering together to him. that you not be soon shaken in mind, nor be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as if from us, as that the day of Yahweh is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless there comes a falling away first, and that servant of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called gods, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Almighty, sits in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is the Mighty One. Do you not remember that while I was still with you, I told you these things? And now you know what is restraining him now, so that he may be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity is already working, but the one restraining him will continue to restrain him until he is made to appear in the midst. And then that lawless one will be revealed, whom Yahshua will remove with the breath of his mouth, and make powerless with the appearance of his coming, whose coming is according to the energy of Satan, who works with all powers and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of sin in those who are perishing, because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason Yahweh will send them strong delusion, that they would believe the deception, in order that all those may be judged as not having believed the truth, but as having delighted in sin. Okay, brothers and sisters, without further ado, let's get into the lesson. The beast from the sea. From the earth. The beast from the earth, whose number is 666. And I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. And he exercised all the authority of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives those who dwell on the earth by those acts of power which he had authority to do in the sight of men. And he had power to give life to the likeness of the beast, that the likeness of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the likeness of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, that they should give to themselves a mark upon their right hands or in their foreheads, and that no one might buy or sell unless he had the mark or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The false prophets. Daniel chapter 7, verses 25 through 27. Let me fix that. And he will speak great wonders against Yahweh, and will wear out, mentally attack, to cause to fall away the saints of Yahweh, and think to change times, Yahweh's feast days and laws, and they will be given into his hand until a time, times, and the dividing of time. But the judgment will sit, and they will take away his government, to consume and to destroy it completely. Then the kingdoms and governments, and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven, will be given to the people of the saints of Yahweh, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all governments will serve and obey him. And then Revelation chapter 13, verses 3 through 8 and 11 and 12. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered, followed after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to make war for 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name and his house and those who dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over all tribes and peoples and languages and nations. And all who dwell upon the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. And I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. And he exercised all the authority of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Woe to the false prophets. Jeremiah chapter 14 verses 10 through 18. This is what Yahweh says to this people, to the degree already pointed out. Have they loved to wonder? They have not restrained their feet. Therefore, Yahweh does not accept them. He will now remember their iniquity and punish their sins. Then Yahweh said to me, do not pray for the welfare of this people. When they fast, I will not listen to their cry. And when they offer burnt offerings and a grain offering, I will not accept them, but I will consume them by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, disease epidemics. Then I said, Ah, Yahweh, my Father, behold, the prophets say to them, you will not see the sword, nor will you have famine, but I will give you enduring peace in this place. And Yahweh said to me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name. I have not sent them, nor have I commanded them, nor have I spoken to them. They prophesy to you false visions, divination of God worship, the deceit of their own minds. Therefore, this is what Yahweh says concerning the prophets who prophesy in my name, although I have not sent them, and who say, sword and famine will not be in this land. Those prophets will themselves be consumed by sword and famine, and the people to whom they prophesy will be cast out in the streets of Jerusalem because of the famine and the sword, and they will have none to bury them, their wives, their sons, and their daughters. For I will pour their wickedness upon them. Therefore you will say this word to them, let my eyes flow with tears night and day, and let them not cease. For the virgin daughter of my people has been broke with a mighty stroke, with a very severe blow. If I go out to the field, then behold, those slain with the sword. And if I enter the city, then behold, those suffering from famine. Yes, both prophet and priest go about in a land they do not know. The false prophet. Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 through 20. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes from thorns, or figs from thistles? Likewise, every righteous tree brings forth righteous fruit, but a tree of evil brings forth fruit of iniquity. A righteous tree cannot bring forth fruit of iniquity, nor can a tree of evil bring forth fruits of righteousness. Every tree which does not bring forth righteous fruit is cut down and cast into the fire. Therefore, by their fruits you will know them. Jeremiah chapter 23 verses 1 and 2 and 9 through 20. Woe to the pastors, shepherds, who destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says Yahweh. Therefore, this is what Yahweh, the Father of Israel, says against the pastors who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, and driven them away, and have not attended to them. Behold, I am going to attend to you, for the evil of your doings, says Yahweh. My heart is broken within me because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, like a man whom wine has overcome, because of Yahweh, and because of his holy words, the law and the prophets. For the land is full of adulterers, those who turn from following Yahweh to follow the gods. Because of this curse, the land mourns. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up. Their conduct is evil, whose might is not right. For both prophet and priest are profane. Yes, even in my own house I have found their wickedness, says Yahweh. And so their way will be slippery places to them. In the darkness they will be driven on and fall in the darkness. For I will bring trouble upon them, the year of their visitation, punishment, says Yahweh. I have seen folly, offense in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied by Baal the Lord, and caused my people Israel to go astray. I have also seen in the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They turn from Yahweh and follow after the gods. They also strengthen the hands of the evildoers, so that no one turns back from his wickedness. All of them are like Sodom to me, and her inhabitants are like Gomorrah. Therefore, this is what Yahweh of hosts says concerning these prophets. Behold, I will feed them with wormwood, and make them drink the water of gall. For from the prophets of Jerusalem profaneness has gone out into the lands. This is what Yahweh of hosts says. Do not listen to the words of the prophets who prophesy to you. They make you vain, fill you with empty hope. They speak a vision from their own minds, and not from the mouth of Yahweh. They continually say to those who despise me, Yahweh has said, you will have peace. And saying to everyone who walks according to the imagination of his own heart, no evil will come upon you. But who among them has stood in the counsel of Yahweh? Who among them has perceived, seen, and heard his word, the law and the prophets? Who among them has observed his word, the law and the prophets, and actually hears it? Behold, a whirlwind of Yahweh has gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It will fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. The anger of Yahweh will not return until he has executed and performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days, you will understand it perfectly. Okay, there's that word. Who among them has marked? Okay. So what does it mean to mark? Observe. Let's go. And I do apologize for the mistakes. I am fixing them as I go along. So if you go back and you're reading along, your visual learner, I am fixing the mistakes as I'm going along. Yeremiah chapter 23, verses 21 through 40. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken of them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, and had caused my people to hear my words, the law and the prophets, then they would have turned them from their evil way, and from the evil of their doings. Am I a father near at hand, says Yahweh, and not a father afar off? Can anyone hide himself in secret places, so I cannot see him, says Yahweh? Do I not fill heaven and earth, says Yahweh? I have heard what the prophets say, who prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long will this be in the heart of the prophets, who prophesy lies? Yes, they are prophets of of the deceit of their own minds, who devise and plan and scheme to cause my people to forget my name through their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, just as their fathers have forgotten my name. For by y'all, Lord. The prophet who has a dream, let him tell a dream. He who has my word, the law and the prophets, let him speak my word, the law and the prophets, faithfully. What is the chaff compared to the wheat, says Yahweh? Is not my word, the law and the prophets, like a fire, says Yahweh, and like a hammer which breaks rocks to pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, says Yahweh, who steal my words one from another, repeat what they have heard others say, as if it had come to them directly from Yahweh. Behold, I am against the prophets, says Yahweh, who make up their own speeches, but then say, this is what Yahweh says. Behold, I am against those who prophesy false dreams, says Yahweh. They tell them and cause my people to go astray by their lies and recklessness. Yes, I did not send them, nor command them. They are of no benefit to this people at all, says Yahweh. So when these people, or the prophets, or a priest asks you, saying, what is the burden of Yahweh? You will then say to them, you are the burden, and I will cast you off, says Yahweh. And as for the prophets, the priest, or the people who say, the prophetic word of Yahweh is a burden, I will even punish that man and his house. This is what you will say, every one to his neighbor, and every one to his brother. What has Yahweh answered? Or what has Yahweh spoken? But the expression, the burden of Yahweh, you will mention no more. For the message comes to men by the prophetic word. For you have perverted the words of the living Father, Yahweh of hosts, our Father. This is what you will say to the prophet. What has Yahweh answered? Or what has Yahweh spoken? But if you say, the burden of Yahweh, then this is what Yahweh has said, because you mention this expression, the burden of Yahweh, when I have sent to you, saying, do not say, the burden of Yahweh. Therefore, behold, even I will utterly forget you, and I will forsake you and cast you out of my presence, you and the city which I gave to your fathers, and I will bring an everlasting reproach upon you, and a perpetual shame, which will not be forgotten. The false prophet, 2 Kephah chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. But there were also false prophets among the people then, just as there will be false teachers among you, who will secretly bring in damnable heresies, even denying their Redeemer who bought them, and bringing swift destruction upon themselves. And many will follow their destructive ways, and because of them the way of truth will be evil spoke of. And in their covetousness they will exploit you with fashioned, made-up words. Their condemnation will not linger, and their destruction will not slumber. For Yahweh did not spare the Malachim who sinned, but will cast them into the abyss, delivering them into chains of darkness to be reserved for judgments. And did not spare the ancient world, but saved Noah, one of 8 people, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood on the world of the unrighteous, those who were lawbreakers, and condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah to destruction by reducing them to ashes, and in this way made them an example for those who afterward would live unrighteously, but delivered righteous Lot, who was deeply grieved by the filthy conduct of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them was tortured in his righteous soul from day to day by seeing and hearing their lawless deeds. Yahweh knows how to deliver the righteous out of the temptations, trials, and to reserve the unjust to the day of judgment to be punished, and especially those who walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise authority, presumptuous and self-willed, They are not afraid to speak evil of dignitaries. Whereas Malachim, who are greater in power and might, do not bring a reviling accusation against them before Yahweh. But these, like natural brute beasts, made to be captured and destroyed, speak evil of things which they do not understand, and will utterly perish in their own corruption, and will receive the reward for unrighteousness, as those who count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. They are spots and blemishes, reveling in their own deceptions while they feast with you at Yahweh's feasts of love, having eyes full of adultery, and who cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, having a mind expertly trained in covetous practices, cursed children, who have forsaken the right way, and have gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Beor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his iniquity. A dumb donkey speaking with a man's voice restrained the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water, clouds driven by a tempest, to whom the gloom of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of worthlessness, they allure through the lusts of the flesh, through wantonness, licentiousness, the ones who have barely escaped from those who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are servants of corruption. For by whom anyone is overcome, to him he is enslaved. Now, if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of Yahweh and the Savior Yeshua Mashiach, they are again entangled by them and overcome by them, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it would have been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, than after they have known it to turn from the holy laws delivered to them. There has befallen them the things spoken of in the true proverb, a dog returns to his own vomit, and a sow is washed only to wallow again in the mire. Woe to the worthless shepherd! This is what Yahweh my Father says. Feed the flock, doomed to slaughter. Those who buy them slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. Those who sell them say, Blessed be Yahweh, I have become rich, since their own shepherds have no pity on them. I will no longer pity the inhabitants of the land, says Yahweh, but lo, I will deliver everyone into the hand of his neighbor, and into the hand of his king. They will crush the land, but out of their hand I will not deliver them. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 4 through 6. Woe to the liars! Woe to the false prophet! Yeshezkiah chapter 13, verses 1 through 11. The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel, who prophesy, and say to them who prophesy what they feel out of their own hearts, Hear the word of Yahweh. This is what Father Yahweh says. Woe to the fools, the evil prophets who follow their own minds, feelings, emotions, heartfelt callings, but have seen nothing. O Israel, your prophets are like the jackals in the ruins. You have not gone up into the breaches, nor built up a hedge, wall for the house of Israel to stand in battle on the day of Yahweh. Their visions are false, and their divinations, inspirations are deceitful, saying, Yahweh has spoken, but Yahweh has not sent them. Yet they expect Yahweh to fulfill their words. Have you not seen a deceptive vision? Have you not spoke lying divinations? Because you say, Yahweh says, but I have not spoken? Therefore, this is what Father Yahweh says. Because you have spoken idolatry, God worship, and seen lies, false visions, behold, I am truly against you, says Father Yahweh, and my hand will come upon the prophets who see idolatry, God worship, and divine lies. They will not be in the gathering of my people, nor will they be written in the register of the house of Israel, neither will they enter into the land of Israel. Then you will know that I am Father Yahweh. Because truly for this cause they have seduced my people, saying, peace, when there is no peace. And when one builds up a flimsy wall, these false prophets cover it with whitewash. Say to those who cover with whitewash that it will fall. There will be flooding rain, and great hailstones will fall, and a violent wind will tear apart that whitewashed flimsy wall. Okay, and then this one is, have you not spoken lying divinations, right? Truly, when that wall has fallen, will you not be asked, where is the whitewash you covered it with? Therefore, this is what Father Yahweh says. I will tear apart with the stormy wind in my fury, and there will be a driving rain in my anger, and great hailstones in wrath to destroy it. So I will break down the wall you have covered with whitewash, bringing it down to the ground until its foundation is exposed. It will fall, and you will be consumed in the midst of it. Then you will know that I am Yahweh. In this way I will accomplish my wrath upon the wall, and upon those who have covered it with whitewash. Then I will say to you, the wall is no more, and neither are those who whitewashed it. The prophets of Israel who prophesy about Jerusalem, who see visions of peace for her when there is no peace, says Father Yahweh. Now, Son of man, set your face against the darters of your people, who prophesy what they feel in their own hearts. Prophesy against them, and say, this is what Father Yahweh says. Woe to those who sew pillows on the wrists of every man, and make coverings for the head of every statue to hunt human lives. Would you entrap the persons of my people to keep your own selves alive? You have profaned me among my people for handfuls of barley and for pieces of bread. You have killed those who should not have died, and have spared those who should not live, by lying to my people who listen to your lies. Therefore, this is what Father Yahweh says. Behold, I am against your pillows, with which you entrap human lives like birds. I will tear them from your arms, and I will let the lives you catch go free, the lives you hunt like birds. I will also tear off your coverings and deliver my people out of your hands, and they will no longer be as a prey in your hands. Then you will know that I am Yahweh, because with lies you have made the hearts of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad. You have strengthened the hands of the wicked, so that he does not turn from his evil way, by promising him life. Therefore, you will no longer see lying visions, nor practice divination, for I will deliver my people out of your hands, and you will know that I am Yahweh. Woe to the liars. Exodus chapter 20, verse 16. You shall not bear false testimony against your brother. Isaiah chapter 30, verses 9 and 10. That this rebellious people, lying children, are children who will not listen to the law of Yahweh, who say to the seers, do not see, who say to the prophets, do not speak right things to us, speak smooth things to us, prophesy deceits. Yeshezkiah chapter 13, verses 6 and 7 and 21 through 23. Their visions are false and their divinations are deceitful, saying, Yahweh has spoken. But Yahweh has not sent them, yet they expect Yahweh to fulfill their words. Have you not seen a deceptive vision? Have you not spoken lying divinations? Because you say, Yahweh says, but I have not spoken. I will also tear off your coverings and deliver my people out of your hands, and they will no longer be a prey in your hands. Then you will know that I am Yahweh, because with lies you have made the hearts of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad. You have strengthened the hands of the wicked, so that he does not turn from his evil way, by promising him life. Therefore you will no longer see lying visions, nor practice divination, for I will deliver my people out of your hands, and you will know that I am Yahweh. Psalm 119, verse 11. We said in our fear, all men are liars, not to be trusted upon, as Yahweh is. Yeshanan chapter 8, verse 44. You are of your father, who is Satan, the devil, and whatever he who is your father desires you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and remained not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. Therefore, when you speak your falsehoods, you speak his words, because he is a liar, and the teacher of all lies. Proverbs 12, verse 22. Lying lips are an abomination to Yahweh, but they who speak the truth are his delight. Proverbs 19:9. A false witness will not go unpunished, for he who speaks lies will perish. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 8 and 9. However, this is what Yahweh of hosts, the Father of Israel, says. Do not let your prophets and your diviners deceive you, they who are in your midst. Do not listen to the dreams they are always dreaming, for they prophesy falsely to you in my name. I have not sent them, says Yahweh. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 36. A sword is against the liars, and they will be made fools. A sword is against her warriors, and they will be filled with terror. And Revelation chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and worshippers of gods, and all liars, will have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Yahweh, Father of truth. And Jeremiah chapter 9, verses 1 through 9. Yahweh, Father of truth. Oh, that my head were waters, and my eyes a fountain of tears, so I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place for wayfaring men, so I might leave my people and go from there, for they are all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men. And like their bow, they make ready their tongue to shoot lies. It is not by truth that they have become strong in the land, for they proceed from evil to evil, and they do not know me, says Yahweh. Let everyone beware of his neighbor, and do not trust just any brother, for every brother could be a deceiving supplanter, and every friend could be a slanderer. Everyone deceives his neighbor and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies. They weary themselves committing iniquity. Your habitation is in the midst of deceit, and through deceit they refuse to know me, says Yahweh. Therefore, this is what Yahweh of hosts says. Behold, I will refine them and try them. For how else should I deal with the daughter of my people? Their tongue is a deadly arrow. It speaks deceit. One may speak peaceably to his neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart he waits an ambush for him. Should I not punish them for this, says Yahweh? Should I not avenge myself on such a nation as this? Woe to the scribes and Pharisees! How can you say, we are the wise, and the law of Yahweh is with us? Behold, the lying pen of the scribes has falsified them, and written them wrong. The wise are ashamed, they are dismayed and taken. Behold, they have rejected the word of Yahweh, the law and the prophets. So what wisdom is in them? Therefore I will give their wives to others, and their fields to those who will inherit. Because from the insignificant up to the greatest, everyone is given to covetousness, greedy for unrighteous gain. From the prophet up to the priest, everyone deals falsely, practices deceit. Jeremiah chapter 8, verses 8 through 10. Woe to the scribes and Pharisees! Then Yahshua spoke to the multitudes and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees are appointed to Moshe's office, teachers of Yahweh's law. Therefore, everything they tell you to observe, that obey and practice. But do not imitate their works, for they preach but they do not practice. For they tie up heavy burdens, hard to be carried, and lay them upon men's shoulders, but they themselves would not lift a finger to move them. But all the works they do are practiced to be seen by men. They widen their phylacteries, and lengthen the tzitzit on their tallits. They love the best places at feasts, the front seats in the synagogues, being greeted in the market, and being called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But you are not to be called Rabbi, for one is the great one over you, and that is Messiah, and all of you are brothers. And you must not pray to or worship any man on earth as a father, for you have only one Father, who is in heaven. And do not be called rulers, for one under Yahweh is your ruler, the Messiah. But he who is greatest among you will be your servants. Whoever will exalt himself will be abased, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of Yahweh in men's faces. For you yourselves will not go in, nor will you allow those who do come to go in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you devour widows' houses, and then make a show with long prayers. For this you will receive the greater damnation. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you travel land and sea to win one convert, and when he is won, you make him twice as much the son of the grave as yourself. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, whoever binds an oath by the temple, it is not binding, but whoever binds an oath by the gold in the temple, he is obligated. Blind fools! Which is greater, the gold or the altar which sanctifies the gold? Again, whoever binds an oath by the altar, it is not binding, but whoever binds an oath by the offering on it, he is obligated. Blind fools! Which is greater, the offering or the altar which sanctifies the offering? Therefore, whoever binds an oath by the altar binds by it and everything on it. Whoever binds an oath by the temple binds by it and him who dwells therein. And he who binds an oath by heaven binds by the throne of Yahweh and by him who sits upon it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you pay tithes on mint, anise, and cumin, but have neglected the more important matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. Tithing you ought to have done without leaving the other undone. You blind guides, who strain at a gnat, then swallow a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you cleanse the outside of the cup and plate, but inside they are full of extortions, unlawful compulsions, blackmail, and incontinence, greed, unrestrained lack of contentment. You blind Pharisee! First cleanse the inside of the cup and plate, so that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outwardly, but inside are full of dead men's bones and all uncleanness. In the same way you appear outwardly righteous to men, but inside you are full of hypocrisy and the breaking of Yahweh's law. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been living in the days of our fathers, we would have had no part with them in the killing of the prophets. In saying that, you witness against yourselves that you are the children of those who murdered the prophets. Make complete then the measure of your fathers. Serpents, brood of vipers, how will you escape the sentence of Gehenna? On this account, behold, I send to you prophets, wise men, and scribes, and some of them you will kill and impale. Some of them you will scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city, so that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the whole earth. From the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the porch and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. Woe to the anti-Messiah. The anti-Messiah, Yeshua chapter 2, verses 18 through 19 and 22 through 23. Little children, this is the last hour, and as you have heard that the anti-Messiah will come, even now there are many anti-Messiahs. By this we know that this is the last hour. They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would have remained with us. But they went out in order that they might be made manifest, that they were not all of us. As for you, your anointing is from the Holy One, and you know all things. I have not written to you because you do not know the truth, but that because you know it, and that no lie is of the truth. Who is a liar but he who denies that Yeshua is the Messiah? He is the anti-Messiah who denies the Father and the Son. Whoever denies the Son does not have the Father either. Yet whoever acknowledges the Son has the Father also. Yeshua chapter 4, verse 1 through 6, the anti-Messiah. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are of Yahweh, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. By this we know the spirit of Yahweh. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua Messiah started in the flesh, is of Yahweh. And every spirit that does not confess that Yahshua Messiah started in the flesh is not of Yahweh. So this is the spirit of the anti-Messiah, which you have heard is coming and is now already in the world. You are of Yahweh, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. They are of the world, therefore they speak of the world, and the world hears them. We are of Yahweh. He who knows Yahweh hears us. He who is not of Yahweh does not hear us. By these we can know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Walk as Yahshua Messiah, Colossians chapter 2, verses 6 through 10. Therefore, just as you have received Yeshua Messiah our head, so walk as he walked, taking root to build the house of Yahweh through him, and also being established in the faith, as you have been taught, abounding in it with thanksgiving. Beware that no one leads you away like a prize because of philosophy or empty false statements according to the traditions of men, after the elements of the world, and not after the Messiah. For in him dwells all the completeness of the holiness of Yahweh in the form of flesh, and you are complete through him who is the head of all principality and power. Yahweh be true, and every man a liar. Yeshezkiah chapter 12, verse 21 through 28. The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, what is this proverb in the land of Israel? The days are prolonged, and every vision fails. Tell them, this is what Father Yahweh says. I will put an end to this proverb, and they will no longer use it in Israel. But say to them, the days are at hand, and every vision will be fulfilled. For there will no longer be any more false visions or flattering divinations within the house of Israel. For I am Yahweh. I will speak, and that word that I speak will come to pass. It will be prolonged no longer. For in your days, O rebellious house, I will say the word and will perform it, says Father Yahweh. Again, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, the house of Israel is saying, the vision that he sees is for a much later time. He prophesies about a distant future. Therefore, say to them, this is what Father Yahweh says. None of my words will be prolonged, postponed, any longer. But the word which I have spoken will be done, says Father Yahweh. And behold, I come quickly.